This is it. Real talk and whatnot.
Real talk. That's what it is. Real talk. Real talk. Real talk.
Alrighty, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My guest today is Thore. Thore, why don't you introduce yourself?
What's up, y'all? I'm a tattoo artist. Everybody calls me Thore. It's been my nickname since like middle school.
And how did you come up with the nickname?
Honestly, my older friend at the time, it was my graffiti name. He gave me that. He's like, you should write Thore. It's cool. And then I was like, I can't be doing graffiti if everybody's gonna call me Thore. That's just dumb.
Didn't
know?
like you have your actual name on your pieces?
That's fucking stupid. Like, oh, I know that guy. So I had to change that up. But the name stuck around as far as nicknames go. Not a bad one.
It's I remember when you first told me your name. Do you remember when we first met outside of the apartment?
Yeah.
Like I was walking in and like you were walking up to me and I'm always like, okay, I don't know this person. I'm gonna go this way. Right. And then you're like, hey, you're Kaim's friend, right? And I was just like, yeah. And you're like, you were going to you're either coming from my house or going to the apartment.
I think Kaim was going to tutor me.
Yeah. Kaim's tutored me too before.
Yeah, dude, I suck at math.
Dude, I suck at math too. Shout out Kaim for tutoring us.
Honestly, for sure. I would not have passed stats if it weren't for that man.
All right. And then, so explain to the people what do you do for a living?
So I'm a professional tattoo artist and body piercer. I've been in the industry for like 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Not all professionally. I had a 2-year-long apprenticeship.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
And so then is art something that you've always been into, or like how did you get into
so
it?
I've pretty much drawn since I was like a really little kid. I have drawings from when I was really little. I never saw it as a career path though.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought like, it's just something I like doing. Had a job since I was like 13.
Mm-hmm.
And they suck, bro. Like I hate working regular jobs. Yeah. So when I met my best friend Jimmy, his parents own Main Street Tattoo.
Yeah.
So out of high school, I want to say I had just got let go from Verizon. And
so you're working at Verizon?
I worked at Verizon, man. I worked at like a lot of jobs.
Dang.
And I asked his dad for an apprenticeship. It took a while to get it, and I just kind of.
And what age was that? 18?
18, 19, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So right around there. And then eventually I got it, and it just was like, wow, why did I ever try to do anything else, you know?
Yeah. Well, because you're drawing for
exactly.
You're doing art for a living.
Yeah.
And then, so got into tattooing that way. And then other experiences with art, like what are your other avenues? That
I do murals and stuff whenever I get the chance to. I mean, obviously I grew up doing graffiti, so bigger scale work is always cooler to me. I painted a couple of murals at like Livingston High School.
Oh yeah,
remember
Merced,
I ran into you.
I was subbing there, and you're like, I'm doing a mural, and I would stop by like the next couple of days. I was like, what's up, Thore? Man, this is so wild.
that was some random shit for sure.
Yeah, that was funny.
But yeah, I like to do murals, and like honestly, this past like year and a half, I've just been working 7 days a week, so I don't have much free time.
Really?
Yeah.
Getting busier and busier.
Well, okay. The whole pandemic thing happened, and I was out of work for like a month and a half, and my savings, I was kind of running through them with rent and stuff. Mm-hmm. So as soon as I was able to work, I was like, yo, I am not going to let this go at all.
Grind it.
If Corona taught me anything, is that I need to push myself harder, because I'm like a month or so away from like being completely broke. So,
yeah.
And the influx of people that like had spending money.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone. It was a little mixture of both. It went from everyone not having enough money, and
to
then
like everybody like, oh, I got
so much money. Let me spend it.
Exactly. So
the first month was pretty weary. Everyone was like, "What's going on?"
It was a weird time, man.
And did you feel like there was a creative block in like that month that you were off?
Yeah.
And that you didn't have any tattoos? Did you feel like you wanted to do
okay,
art
so I was
and
like,
stuff, or
I like to be very disciplined, and honestly, it was hard for me to push myself at home when I just was at home all fucking day. I was like, I could just throw on Netflix and watch whatever's going on, you know? I had this painting, gigantic girl face that I was painting. It took me like fucking weeks. Usually I'm pretty fast with shit, and it just was not happening for me.
And I think when the pandemic hit, everyone's kind of like their limbo got shifted off.
Yeah,
and
it was a weird time.
Yeah, it seemed like even like for me, like I was just a waiter and everything, but it actually did the opposite for most people, because during that time, me and Jimmy met up every single week, and we're just like, we got to work on something.
Yeah.
And granted, like everything we're working on, maybe it wasn't like getting anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it helped us get to where we are now and what we want to do.
And that's what's important. You got to lay down that groundwork, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And if we didn't have the, like, honestly, I grew so much in the pandemic. Like I'm I'm thankful it happened for the sense of my own self.
Your own personal growth.
Yeah, my own personal
sure.
growth. And I'm just really happy that I could grow as a photographer way more in a year than I could have if I was still working, substituting, and working my other job at Rivet. So, because I would wake up 7 to 3 and substitute, and then I'd go to work like 3 or 4 days a week at night from 5 to 10. And so I was just on that cycle over and over. And this gave me a chance to be like, okay, what do you want to do? Like, what do you actually want to do? Because for a while I was like, I want to be a teacher because I should be a teacher because everyone's pressuring me to be a teacher. You know what I mean? But then I was just realizing like, no, I've always liked photography and videography. Mm-hmm. Why don't you just try to pursue that actually? And then now here I am, working it out.
Yeah, I was going to school full time at UC Merced.
Yeah, I remember that. Was your major art? Or?
Art, yeah, I'm an art major.
I mean, at least that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The goal is to be a college art professor at some point.
Dude, that would still be dope.
I'd like to do that as a side thing at some point.
Because you can always do part time. There's like teachers who do a couple units and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. But the thing was like, I was always kind of back and forth. Like I wouldn't give my all in school. I'm a C student. You know,
dude, C's make degrees. Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. Yeah.
But I kept feeling like I could give tattooing more. I just can't because I'm going to school full time.
Yeah.
So once the pandemic hit, I was like, yo, like I'm not going to school right now because obviously I can't. Mm-hmm. I just finished up that semester and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take like a year off till we go back to in-person learning because I didn't like online.
How far in were you?
I have about a year left to graduate. To get my bachelor's, and I have like another 2 years for my master's.
Yeah. But master's you could always take spread out for like 5 years and online.
I'm not too stressed about it. Yeah. But like it gave me so much more free time to tattoo. Like I would come in early, stay late, work on my days off. Not that I wasn't doing that either way, but like now I don't have to worry about homework.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the stuff that you don't care about.
Not that I don't care about school, but you know, just,
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's not. No one looks forward to their homework.
Yeah, right. I'm not sitting here trying to like fucking work on a history assignment. But yeah, that like really taking time off school has propelled my career so much more. Like,
I was gonna say, so I don't think I even realized. I knew you were going to school and everything, but I don't think I realized that. Like in my mind, I was just figured you graduated or whatever. But now, like now that I think about it, the pandemic hit. It probably like I was saying, it allowed me to grow my personal growth. It probably allowed you to realize like
definitely
like it's not that you're not gonna go back and finish it, but it's
I'm so close to finishing. I'm gonna finish.
Yeah, kind of reassuring you that like you don't need it though. Like you know what I mean? Like
definitely. And then financially too is like, why am I gonna pay like $15,000 to teach myself?
Yeah.
I was like, I can't even remotely justify that.
And it probably irritates. I mean, does it irritate you ever? Like go into some art classes and like. I'm sure there's some teachers who have taught their stuff and have been stuck in their ways of teaching whatever they're teaching. Mm-hmm. Like, and I feel like our younger generation just has different perspectives and views on things. And like, the thing that like, I took one photography class and it's just like, teachers can tell you you're wrong. And it's just like, what do you mean I'm wrong? This is my personal opinion or my personal piece. Like, how is this wrong?
So for me, when I had, not at UC Merced, but at the college, because I transferred.
Merced College?
Yeah. I always had this weird like power struggle with art teachers. Like, I know I'm a good artist. They don't necessarily know that. I have to take all those beginning level, like entry level classes. And like, look, I know how to draw, and they're like, no, well, do it this way. Yeah. And then I'll do it in like 10 minutes. They're like, oh, yeah, you're right. You do know how to draw.
Yeah, but then they almost feel like it's not that they're necessarily intimidated by you. But like, they almost don't like when I feel like that
definitely
they don't like when
that.
They have someone who could almost be better than them or just
knows what they're doing already.
Yeah, exactly. And then they feel like useless as a teacher, and I get the
because I remember when I got into like college, I was relearning all the stuff that like I had taken all throughout high school because I took art classes all throughout high school. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know color theory. Like, I already know how to draw shapes, you know? Mm-hmm. I've done this.
Yeah.
And I'd try, like, I would not be an asshole about it, but I'd try and explain it to my teachers, and they're like, no, well, just do that.
Yeah. They don't want you to work ahead. They just want you to focus on what the class is doing, and you're like...
It was frustrating.
Yeah.
It was a frustrating couple of years, for sure.
And then at the UC, do you kind of see the switch?
Okay, so I had this professor, Professor Gomez, who's been definitely a mentor for me. And I kind of met him before I even got into the UC. I want to say I took like some art thing there, some art meeting. And he was super cool and he kind of stuck out to me. And then he's kind of pushed me to do better. So
yeah. That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
And it's always good to have like someone who like you actually can look up to versus.
Yeah, he's actually the guy who set up the mural at the Livingston High School.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
He's the one who painted the face, the kid playing the flute.
Yeah. That's cool. So it was like a kind of like a group. Was that like a group piece or like a?
Yeah, so it was a couple of artists, Gomez, myself, Patty, Jazzy, and then he had one of his grad students, Perla, I want to say her name is. Mm-hmm. And then we all just kind of worked on it together, and then we had like kids come in and
do their pieces or add to it. That's cool. And so you said you were like 19 when you first became apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so how long, so your tattoo journey from your apprenticeship, what's that like?
Okay, so an apprenticeship is just like an unpaid internship, you know, you're getting paid an experience. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was still working at my aunt's liquor store here and there to like.
Which one is that?
She owned a liquor store on 11th Street.
Oh, okay.
Or not liquor, I'm sorry, convenience store. They didn't sell liquor. They sold beer and stuff like that.
Yeah, gotcha, like a drugstore kind of, or not drug, but you know what I mean.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Essentially. And I remember doing that still, working full time still, and being at the shop, like still 5-6 days a week. And then I pretty much saw everybody from that shop leave at one point. Like all the original people that were there when I started left. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fuck, man, is this just how that goes? Like that's just a little weird to me. But it taught me a lot, and I think it came into my life when I had like, you know, when you're 19, you think you know everything.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. I think back of like your early 20s. You're like,
a fucking
you
dick,
thought,
bro.
Yeah,
such a dick.
You thought you knew everything, and then, like I feel like now we're at the age where it's just like self-realization with everything coming into play on who you actually are as a person versus like who you thought you were back when you're 20 something. And back then, your main focus was like partying. Like, you know what I mean?
Dude, I was trying to get drunk on the weekends.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Like, drunk on the weekends, girls, all that shit. Like it was.
Like a normal, but that's like almost like a normal 20-something-year-old.
Exactly. And then I grew up without a dad, so when I had a mentor, like an actual mentor, which is Jimmy's dad, Lil John, it came to me in a point in my life where I was like, fuck, I think I know everything. I'm kind of an adult.
Yeah.
And it made me realize how much growing up I had to do. Like he was really a super invaluable.
Yeah.
Very valuable person in my life, man. Much love to that man.
Yeah, dude. He's always so supportive with anything that.
He's like the nicest guy.
Yeah. No,
he's the nicest guy.
Anytime, because he was there, like when me and Jimmy were doing our first like short film thing together.
Yeah,
he was like super supportive and so excited about it. And then every single thing that we've done since then, he's just like, oh man, the Western.
Yeah.
It just brings up like he just is always so supportive. And
and he taught me a lot about like being a man that I just didn't know.
Yeah, and you didn't have that growing up. You didn't have the father figure to look up to. And that's really cool. And it's even cooler that's one of your best friend's dads.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And honestly, for a while, me and Jimmy were living together at the time too. I felt like I was more in his family than he was because I would be like with all of them.
You're with him all the time at the shop or everything.
Yeah. Jimmy would say he's like the white sheep of a black sheep family, you know? But I was like, I left Jordan, you know, Paulette, all of them. Like,
yeah, dude, all
everybody at one point was working there, like together. So that was really cool. I have a lot of like love and good memories from Main Street.
That's cool. And then when you did start tattooing, what was the main reason for your career path choice? I mean, obviously, because you love art.
Yeah.
Can you go into a little more detail?
Yeah. Okay. So I really was always wanted to do something with art. I just was like, I need to find a way to make money, but I don't know like what to do with that. So tattooing just seemed kind of like a natural segue into that. And I was like, graffiti's not paying me shit, you know?
Yeah.
It's actually putting me at risk. But once I found tattooing, I was like, this is the coolest shit ever, bro. Like, I get to tattoo all fucking day. I get to draw on people all fucking day.
Yeah.
Have cool conversations with them. Or even if they're kind of assholes, like, I could just put in my headphones and just work on art all day.
Does that vary?
Yes.
Did you ever start it, like, without headphones in? Or do you always just keep one in just in case?
Okay, so most of the time, I'll kind of play out the vibes a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, on bigger pieces, I like to zone out to my headphones if I can. But I also double as a piercer. I picked up piercing in my apprenticeship.
Yeah, so how is that? I mean, piercing seems a little more like, I don't know, I can understand tattooing. Yeah. Piercing's a little more, like, not like cringy to me, but like in the fact that like, you're literally pushing scarier. A needle through somebody's lip, nose, wherever.
Yeah, I'm super glad we're not doing oral stuff because of Corona, because people's oral hygiene is not great, for one.
Yeah.
Honestly, it doesn't gross me out as much as I thought it would, except for like mouth stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And dermals. I hate doing dermals.
What are dermals again?
So they're like implanted jewelry. You know how like Lil Uzi got that diamond on his forehead?
Like $20 million diamond or something
fucking
ridiculous. Yeah, something stupid.
That's what a dermal is. It's an implant. Do not like doing those.
But so dermals aren't girls. Some more times weird.
Oh, the like dimple things.
Yeah, but that's just piercings.
That's
a
piercing. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, but those are implants.
Yeah,
right?
so you have to cut like the way I do is I cut like little pockets and I just pretty much shove the jewelry in.
And then does the skin just naturally heal around?
Yes. Yeah, it's a really sensitive piercing. I don't recommend it, but you know.
What is the most common piercing?
Nostrils.
Nostrils.
So nostrils, navel. It's your belly button. Everyone.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was like nasal.
No, that's your septum. That one's really common too. Just like ear stuff, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The piercing's cool. It's a quick way to like. I picked up piercing during my apprenticeship because a lot of our piercers left.
Okay, gotcha.
They had one. They were like, "This is too much of a workload."
Mm-hmm.
So they taught me how to do it. Found out I was cool at it. So it really gave me a way to make extra money during my apprenticeship.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So like you could still apprenticing. Obviously, like are you charging people? Or are you almost just like practicing on people?
Okay, so during my apprenticeship, I tattooed for free, completely for free.
Yeah, you're working on your own craft basically.
Yeah,
right?
all my never underestimate the power of free. Even if it's a shitty tattoo, they're like, well, I didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
But it was really just my own friends that would like let me fuck up on them. Shout out to those people.
Yeah, shout out to them for a minute.
Yeah,
I think
honestly.
you be who you are now.
Yeah, fuck yeah, because some of those were rough.
Yeah, I'm sure you look back.
Yeah.
But that's like all my tattoos, it's funny. Ricky G, shout out Ricky G.
Shout out Ricky.
Yeah, but he like every single one of my tattoos, it's like I always wanted a tattoo, and he was just like, dude, let's schedule your tattoo. And I was like, okay. Like, and he was like, what about this date? I'm like, all right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And that's like how I got my first tattoo. Second tattoo, same thing. You know,
Right.
we did that.
Yeah.
And then my third tattoo, I ran into him at my other friend Zach's wedding, and he was like, dude, let's get in the books right now. Let's do a portrait of your grandpa. And it wasn't even like I hadn't even decided that I was gonna do that.
Yeah, fucking
I kept
Ricky.
telling him like I didn't want a portrait just because like you see some people who
Some
do
people have some
portraits.
fucked up portraits.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't want a fucked up portrait on me. It's not, and it wasn't even anything that I didn't
Like
trust
against
Ricky.
him, just
It was just like my initial
It's a
scared
big
reaction.
deal, yeah.
Exactly. And then basically, and I kept telling him like I don't want a portrait. I want like a smaller portrait, like something farther back. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then he drew it up, and I was just like, that looks dope, honestly. Like let's do it. And then I drove up to Roseville and everything like that. But
yeah, Ricky's an insane artist. He's done
Dude,
my
I love his
ribs.
portraits.
He's done the bottom of my chest. He's done one on my leg. Super cool guy. Yeah, Ricky's works. I don't got a bad thing to say about him.
yeah,
for
no,
sure.
dude,
Yeah.
Ricky's dope. And then so who are your inspirations?
I draw like honestly, it's way too many names, but I draw inspirations from almost everybody. Like the people I work with currently, people who I used to work with. As far as like specific artists and stuff, I grew up really loving Norm's tattoos. He's the same dude who did all of Mac Miller's tattoos.
Oh, okay.
He's also done like my inner bicep and my chest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's really cool, actually. That. And where's he's based out of?
He was based out of LA. He's passed away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you do a trip down there to get it? Tattoos and stuff?
Yeah. He's a super cool dude. Like the nicest guy. I actually I've been tattooed by like 2 or 3 people at his shop, and everybody just never has a bad thing to say about him. So he's a super cool dude. And it's cool meeting your heroes. You know?
I was gonna say, and the fact that you can make an appointment with someone that you
like that
look
shit
up
is
to.
crazy.
And I'm sure it's cool for them to hear that too. Because I'm like, when you go in, it's not like you're gonna be like,
hey man.
yeah, exactly. But just to know that
Yeah.
you've inspired other people around you.
Yeah, definitely. I honestly like going into that a little bit more. I like to get tattooed by people whose work I really admire. So it's like an opportunity to meet my heroes.
Yeah.
But it's also a learning opportunity.
Yeah, I assume
On top
you look
of
at
trying
it
not to look like a bitch
I'm
in front
sure-
of them, you know? Because this shit hurts.
Yeah. You're like, look, listen, I do this to every single person, but I understand. And I mean, you're pretty much. Are you?
I got a good amount of tattoos, man. Most of my upper
Good
body is
amount.
done.
Yeah. Is your back done too?
I'm actually about to get my whole back done in April.
Okay, gotcha. Is
fly out
that
to
like you're
Houston.
gonna do a giant piece there? or what?
Yeah. So I got a couple on my back. Like I have some filigree right here and my mom's portrait right there. And then I'm just gonna fill up the whole thing with some Aztec stuff.
All during your trip?
Yeah, we're gonna start on it. We're definitely not finishing.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
I got a good paint tolerance, but not that good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get. I think he said his session is like 6 hours. So solid 6 hours of tattooing.
And so he'll get a good amount done
Yeah.
during that time.
But like everybody tattoos at different speeds, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Ricky, for example, takes forever. Takes forever. This works insane, but he takes forever. The dude who did my neck.
Granted, though, if I'm having someone do a portrait,
no, hey,
you better fucking
sure.
take your time. No,
no, I get that. But like the dude who did my neck, hour and a half.
Really?
Maybe like 2-ish hours in total of me being there, but this shit was fast.
Is it always like surprising, kind of like everyone's different?
Yeah.
Like...
Everyone does things differently, so it's cool to pick up little tips and tricks from everybody. And then just like talking, like tattoos, because the general public doesn't get tattooing, so
they don't understand the knowledge that you have. And so when you're actually talking to somebody, like I'm sure they honestly respect you more, or like they're like, oh, I can talk to this guy. You know what I mean?
So it's always like I'm trying not to be starstruck and trying to just like pick up like tips and tricks.
Be cool.
Yeah, just like, I know it sucks, bro. It feels like wet fire, but just. But yeah.
That's cool. And then, so obviously each tattoo artist has their own personal style, right? What would you describe like your style? Like there's Japanese traditional,
Okay, so I don't even really feel like I have a style. I'm very well-rounded. As far as like the shit I like doing, the shit you're going to see on my Instagram, a lot of black and gray realism, neo-traditional, and custom lettering. But there's not a style I can't do. Or at least make look like it's supposed to look like, But since I'm at a street shop, and a lot of people don't know what a street shop is versus like studio. Street shop is like you walk in there, they have time, you're getting tattooed.
Yeah, gotcha. Like walk-ins, basically.
Yeah. You can just walk in off the street and just boom, get tattooed.
And I'm guessing when you start tattooing, that's kind of like your first gigs. Like
not for everybody, everybody's a little different.
Yeah.
But there's also like studio environments where you have your appointments set for like, I don't know, whenever it would be. And then you're just like really one of the only people in there. It's a private, like closed down place.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's like appointment only, right? I think Ricky's is like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't think they do too many walk-ins.
Yeah. And it's kind of cooler in the sense that, like, is yours a little mixture?
It's a mixture because I'm booked out for months. My boy Joey Bacon is booked out for months. I know Robert's. We're all pretty much booked up. Like, we we'll do walk-ins if we can, and truthfully, it's just me and like one other dude that do walk-ins.
And then if you have enough time, basically, you're like,
And I tattoo pretty fast as well, so it's like if I can get it in, I definitely will like tattoo you.
That's cool.
Yeah,
because some people are like, booked out months. No, I can't accept it, and it's just like.
Yeah, sometimes my thing is like if it's like a 5-minute tattoo, sure, man.
Yeah, especially I would say, sure, if it's a little one, you're like, why not?
A little butterfly outline, sure.
Let's make $100 real quick.
Exactly. Why would I not want to make money?
Yeah.
It gets a little overwhelming sometimes. A lot of people like to like pile in there like all at once. Like I don't know what it is. Like everybody just 5 o'clock and shit ton of people just head in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Everyone's trying to get off work and just get tattooed. And I'm like, no, that's not the way that works, guys.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, but tattoo shops are a little different than like a traditional business in the sense that hour-wise, it seems like most tattoo shops open up like 10, 11-ish.
Yeah, we open up at 12.
Or was I was
most shops that I've been to open up at 12. I personally am in there like 9 or 10.
But can you have people come in?
Yeah. I book myself my own appointment, so I'm a morning person.
Yeah, me too.
Wake up in the morning, go to the gym, shower, eat, and then tattoo all day. And then we close at 8. I'm never gonna take on anything big past like 5.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm tired by the end of the day,
Yeah, and I'm guessing you don't even want to give someone your tire or like your like at the end of the day. It's kind of like
it's like I can fit that small one that's not gonna take a lot of mental effort.
You don't want to put a.
I'm not gonna do a portrait at fucking like 5,
Yeah.
And more power to the people that can do that.
Yeah.
Kudos. I'm a morning person. I like to be done by the end of my day.
I'm a morning person too.
Yeah. My girlfriend is not, and it's like it's a very, very odd mix,
She sleep in or what?
She can. I have a stepson.
Yeah.
She has a son, so he'll wake up. We'll put on cartoons for him, and I'll just kind of play with him for a little bit so he can get a little more sleep.
Yeah. That's cool. And then you guys just live in Merced somewhere?
Yeah, I live like 5 minutes away from here.
You live where? Just that way?
Next to the Dark Park, the apartment complex?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, right there.
My sister lives right there, actually. Okay. That's cool.
I can never find parking.
Oh, yeah. every time I go visit her, I'm like, and I also, she's moved to like multiple places within that one. And like this last time, like almost like knocked on the wrong door. And she's like, I'm at this one. I'm like, why would, it's like so crazy that people move like within the same apartment complex.
I'm actually so stoked to be getting out of there. I just got a house.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I bought a house, yes.
Dude, Congratulations.
I know. I feel like an adult, man. I feel like such a fucking adult.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
So I just bought a house. Hopefully it'll be done in May, and I'll be moving out there. So
dude, is it getting built?
Yeah, it's getting built.
Oh,
I went
dude.
through like a development company. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Grown
I'm
man
stoked.
stuff.
Yeah,
huh?
dude, I'm fucking stoked on that. Just
Dude, that's cool.
not having to worry about parking. It'll be great.
All right. So next question. So what's one way that you felt like you've grown since the beginning of you being a tattoo artist to now?
I'd say I had to learn like black and gray realism on my own a lot. And that's the style I'm most interested in doing.
And so explain it to me for someone who doesn't necessarily
Okay, so
know.
black and gray realism is it's black and gray, obviously, but it looks like what it's supposed to look like.
Like,
Versus-
like so
you know,
real
it
life
doesn't have
stuff.
any outlines to it.
It's not like a cartoon type
yeah,
of...
yeah. So the shop I was at when I first started was Main Street. A lot of traditional tattooing. And not that John didn't do black and gray realism. He definitely does, and he kills it. But a lot of it, like, it was a lot of my own experimentation and, like, trying to figure that out. And I'd say I was a lot lazier when I first started. I've gotten into the mode of, like, I draw every day when I get home.
That's good.
Yeah, and it's a pain in the fucking ass.
I was about to say, I'm sure that sometimes you get home and you're like, I don't want to do art.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, I just want to sleep. But even so, I still have to draw for my appointments for one. I draw when I get home for like an hour.
For the next day?
For the next day.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
I'd love to tell people like, oh, I prepared for this for months, you know? Like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
the way that works. So I draw for it the day before, and then after that, I will force myself to at least like sketch a little bit.
Just creatively?
Yeah, just like
let your brain do it.
If I can just like start like a custom lettering thing, or like just work on some shit that I saw on Pinterest that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Or if I could like paint a little bit on some paintings I'm working on. Just that like 10, 15 minutes is like all of it. I know I'm making some progress towards the artist I
And
want
you
to be.
just keep a sketchbook?
Yeah.
That's
I have a couple sketchbooks filled up. I like brown paper for black and gray realism, so it like helped me. So I've had to learn like realism a lot more so on my own. And then just getting tattooed by artists whose work I like. That is a big thing, because you get to learn like, oh, they use this needle grouping, or they use this ink, or this is the way they approach some shit, you know?
And I'm sure, like, when you first started getting tattoos, I mean, like, I feel like naturally, especially if, like, tattoo artists, like, you're almost like, you want to get tattooed, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you want to
yeah.
get tattooed up. But I'm sure now that you're, like, realizing you have limited space on your body.
Yeah, dude, I'm running out of space.
Are you kind of like, okay, now I need to be like, who do I want to do this?
Exactly.
And, yeah,
exactly,
it's probably a lot
man.
different
Yeah.
than your first
I just want to get tattooed. Yeah,
exactly.
Like, okay, so both my sleeves, both done by Jimmy's family. So this is John. It's an eagle. To me, it's an eagle fighting a snake, like the Mexican flag.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
I think Japanese sleeves are cool as shit, so always wanted one. This is Jimmy's brother. And I just, a lot of cool shit that I thought looked good, you know? All done in neo-traditional, which I love doing neo-traditional.
So that's neo-traditional?
Yes.
And that's Japanese?
Japanese, yes. And then, like, what's on my neck is, like, black and gray realism.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So, you know what I mean?
And do you have a favorite tattoo on your body?
No. I think I have a really cool collection going.
Okay,
I've
cool.
gotten tattooed by, like, a lot of insane artists, so it's, yeah, I don't think I have a favorite.
What about means the most? Any of those?
No, not really, man. It's hard to say, you know?
Yeah.
I have a good amount of, both my bottom legs are done. I have a little bit on my upper thighs.
So your thighs are pretty clean, though?
Yeah. I'll probably leave it like that. That shit hurt. That shit was not fun.
Really?
Yeah.
What about, like, the calf? Does that hurt?
Calf was absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. I got a portrait back here of Salvador Dali, one of my favorite artists. And
What did he do?
he did surrealism. So, like, you know, like, have you ever seen, like, the melting clock thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was
That's him?
Yeah, that was him.
Okay, gotcha. And he kind of changed art, or?
So he was, like, I'd say the father of surrealism, who just kind of was really into, like, weird abstract shit, but like super realistic still.
Yeah, okay.
And I really enjoy the,
He like
I want to say artsiness.
He like pioneered the
Yeah. He was just into painting weird shit, which is cool.
Yeah, that is
fucking
cool.
sick. He said he would paint everything from his dreams. So he'd have a dream journal. He'd wake up, just write some shit down. It's like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do.
And that's
today.
his premise for what he's. That's dope. That's a really cool, like, unique way to
approach some shit.
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, and like, just I don't remember my dreams that much.
Oh, so nobody does. That's
Hardly
the thing,
ever. Yeah. But like, I always like my friend Harold has the most vivid dreams, and I'm just like, Jesus, I wish I could have those dreams, man.
I only remember the ones that are like, and honestly, I don't remember any off the top of my head, but like
I mean,
the ones that like, I was like, oh fuck, I almost died. Or, like some weird shit
or
just
like
happened,
you
know?
jolt, wake up. And but it's like for that split moment, you remember it. And then after that, like we're saying, like,
like 10 minutes later, I'm like,
what
the fuck was that? Yeah.
And it's so weird because your like mind's
right there,
working while you're sleeping still. Like, you know what I mean? That's the weirdest part.
That's always
dreams.
been like your subconscious.
Yeah,
your subconscious is always there.
And it's like, it's your subconscious. Yeah, it is always there, but it's weird that it's moving and working while...
I agree, while you're like at rest.
And it's also like sleep is such a weird thing to me. Like your body has to sleep. You have to sleep.
Yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
But no, but it's so crazy that like I don't know, to me that when your eyes are closed, your mind's still working and thinking about things. And even like when you're just trying to fall asleep, like the things that are racing through your head, I'm sure just continue on.
Yeah. And you ever seen, this is really off subject, but like you ever seen American Dad?
Yeah.
Okay, there's just one episode where like, I wish I could not sleep and just like do shit.
Yeah.
Or he just takes like a pill where he like feels all, he's like, I feel so not wiry, but well rested.
Oh, that'd be cool. Like instead of limitless,
like just like a no sleep pill, you know?
Dude, that'd be
sick.
Think about how much more productive you could be. In
Exactly.
Your life.
I got a 6-pack at that point, you know?
Yeah.
Cook. He used it just to play video games and shit for himself. But, you know, the potential of that's really cool.
That's funny. And then another question here. What's your favorite subject? Do you have any favorite subjects to tattoo specifically?
I like girl faces.
Girl faces?
Girl faces. I just think they're cool subject matter, you know? Not to be like weird or nothing. Yeah. Just, I think they're cool subject matter. Very visually pleasing. Mm-hmm. I love roses. Roses are... I've never gotten tired of doing a rose. I've never been like, another rose, you know?
It's probably basically like real roses because each rose is unique, although they all look the same.
I never have to tattoo the same subject matter.
Yeah, you can still always have your own personal taste on it.
Yeah. I love doing religious stuff, statues specifically. There are also tattoos I really dislike doing. So,
what tattoos don't you like doing?
Not a fan of infinity signs. I'm tired of tattooing St. Jude.
Oh yeah, that's like just the most.
And I wouldn't mind it if there were different references for it. But it's just the same one. It's the same one.
Yeah, that's kind of like
butterflies. Do not like doing butterflies. And honestly, this week I've tattooed 12.
Okay, I can see why you'd get
just
over
this
it though.
Week, you know.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So I tattoo butterflies at least 3 to 4 times a week.
And those are always generally pretty small, or what?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes
I guess it varies. Yeah.
It varies. It varies on style. But I tattoo a lot of fucking butterflies.
And is it just generic kind of butterflies too?
Sometimes they're like get switched up a little bit. Honestly, they all vary.
You ever do any? I don't know what it's called, but like the geometry type of.
I just did this dude's hand. We did like a bunch of like hexagonal like patterns on it. That was cool.
Because I see those, and it's really cool when they mix in like. They'll mix in like an animal almost, or like different things with.
Oh, okay. I'd love to do more of that. My clientele base doesn't really get that too much, so every now and then.
And then therefore it doesn't. It's not like you're known for it. Or like you know what I mean. When people are looking for a tattoo artist, they're probably gonna.
Like I never post butterflies on my actual page. I'll post them on my story
because I'm sure that's for your portfolio, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a digital portfolio. That's how I treat it.
Yeah.
Like I just did this gigantic like armor and like Viking Thor hammer thing on this dude's arm, and I was doing it. I was like, this is cool. Like I liked it when I took it on. I will never do this again. I told the dude, I was like, you were the last person I'm doing this on.
Really?
Man. Yeah. It was so tedious. Like I said, I tattoo really fast, so it took me like 5 hours. And just 5 hours of just being here.
And do you come up with your prices beforehand, right?
Typically, I have an hourly rate too, so I will, if I don't know how long something's going to take me, there's like a lot of variables that go into pricing and time-wise, so if I don't know something, I'll, give them an hourly
rate.
And just however long it gets done. Usually by the time the appointment comes up, I'll have a better understanding of how long it's going to take me. I also do like session rates, and I'll do flat rates as well. I do my best to work with everybody's budget. It's more so in the way you ask it.
Yeah.
Because if someone's like, this is my budget, this is what I'm trying to get, can you make that work? That's cool. I've had people can you lower the price?
Same thing with photography.
I just don't even respond at that point.
Yeah, dude. It's same thing with like photography or like Like photography is a little worse to me because like at the end of the day, they have that tattoo. That's your tattoo for your life now.
Yeah,
you know what I
gotta
mean?
live with that. Yeah.
Photography, they're like, someone messages you, do you have any more photos? Or what about this photo?
Yeah.
Do you have this? And it's just like, I told you you get 15 photos, okay?
Yeah, you know what? You can't please everybody, and I've kind of
Yeah.
come to terms with that. There are people like, I know I shouldn't probably be saying this because it's a little incriminating,
Yeah.
but sometimes when I'm doing a piercing,
Mhm.
and let's just say I'm doing like someone's nose, and I'll mark it, and they're like, oh, can I just have it like slightly over, or like, just trying to micromanage the situation.
Yeah.
I'll just erase it and put it in the exact same spot.
And they're like,
That's perfect. That's where I wanted it. It's like,
they just want to have their say.
they just
in
want to
it.
have their say.
Yeah.
And, it is what it is.
Yeah, and like I get it to some degree, obviously.
Yeah, I do.
But, like,
Same.
Yeah, but on the flip side, you're
Sometimes they're like,
dealing with every single person wanting their opinion on their stuff.
and I'm like, yeah, what do I know? I just do this for a living.
Yeah.
Fine.
That's funny. And then so obviously you're booking months in advance.
Yeah.
How do you organize yourself? Like you got a planner or your phone or
Holy shit, that I'm the worst. The other week I quadruple booked myself, all for the same time space, and I was like,
then you're at fault, huh?
yeah, it's definitely my fault. Like I'm never like, oh, this is your fault, unless
Yeah.
it is. But like
Yeah.
most of the time, I'm like, all right, that's on me. I have like a specific planner that I write everybody's appointments in.
Mhm.
And if you come to the shop and leave a deposit, you have a deposit slip.
Mhm.
That goes into another like folder that I have like every month separated out. But I also take deposits through Cash App and Venmo and Zelle and all that shit through Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter.
Oh, you can do Snapchat money, huh? I
Yeah,
forgot.
yeah. Every now and then, not too much.
Yeah, I'm
but
sure that's not the primary.
yeah, because everything deletes on Snapchat.
Yeah,
so it's like
yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, dude. Just text me about this,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
text. Like some people will just text me. So with all of those things going on, like it gets a little hard to manage sometimes. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say, in preparing, like, okay, I need to be drawing this the day before or
Yeah,
a couple
yeah,
days
yeah.
before.
usually I'm pretty good about like knowing if I got a big one.
Mhm.
If I have a big one, usually that one gets priority and that one would draw for. So, but yeah, it just like yesterday, like I had this dude that he's taking up my whole day. He booked up my whole day. He shows up at 11. I have two girls show up like also up front. And I was like, hey, do you guys have an appointment? It's before we're open. She's like, yeah, with you. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah, well, my next question was gonna be like, have people ever showed up at the same time?
Yeah,
But
dude. And so it just becomes this thing. Like I knew that they had driven from Fresno to come get tattooed by me. So, and I've had people drive out from like LA and fucking the Bay and shit. Like it's super heartwarming for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But in my head, I was like, all right, well, it's not something big. I'm gonna knock this out. I'm just gonna explain to my other client,
like, yeah,
Yeah. And I'm usually pretty good about like everybody gets tattooed regardless, So
that's cool.
typically if I've double booked, it's usually smaller pieces. It's not like
And so it's not the
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're gonna know if you got
Like
a
a big
5-hour
one.
piece to work on or something
Yeah.
like that.
The other day when I quadruple booked, this dude showed up at 9. I had a girl that I was already waiting for me. I was running late, as I usually am. And he was like, hey, bro, I'm outside the shop's locked. I was like, oh, shit, man. Show back up in an hour. And, I have like my fault. I double booked. I'll shoot you a little discount. Usually I'll give somebody a discount.
Yeah, if it's
that's
your
on
fault,
me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. You're like, this is my fault. I'll
yeah.
help you out.
It's your time. Time is precious.
Yeah. Time is money, as I have
Time is money.
I have it tattooed on my chest. Not that means anything to me.
It is, though. It is.
Yeah,
you don't get that back, So I don't like fucking with people's time.
Yeah.
So I tattooed the girl that was already waiting for me. And then he shows back up. And then another girl shows up. And I was like, oh, fuck, I told her to come in too. And then I had another appointment. And then I tattooed him. And then my next one showed up for the same time as him. And I was like, oh, fuck, okay. I'm going to do this. We got this.
You did all of them?
I did all of them. The first girl got tattooed. The second girl, I drew, because he got like a script thing right here.
Uh-huh.
I drew that on completely. I was like, we got to let that dry for a minute. So I'm going to do the small tattoo. Did that while that was drying. Tattooed that dude. And then just like,
Damn, just bouncing back and
Yep.
forth. Do you ever have somebody like, I'm guessing it's kind of like in that scenario, you're like, crap. And like you're skipping like any time in the sense of like for yourself.
Yeah,
to,
like I don't eat
prepare.
sometimes,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
gonna say, like I'm sure you go from 12 to 8 without.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Like that is a big thing of mine that I would like to like work on is my diet. Like the way I eat is fucking terrible.
Well, we're all getting to the age where we're realizing like when you eat like shit,
you feel like shit.
you feel like shit, and
You
the
feel
next
like
day you wake up
and you're just like, oh, I'm gross.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the working out's fun. I love working out, but like eating like a salad. Like.
Yeah. It's, I mean, that's just in general. And then, I mean, there's obviously toys you can make.
Yeah, right,
good and everything. But it's just, with that comes, preparing and giving more
also
time
super
for
time
yourself.
consuming.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to just buy like some meal prep.
Yeah, but then it's almost like, then you feel like,
yeah,
you're like, I don't want to eat this meal prep.
No, for sure. I've
There's
bought
always
meal
a
preps
reason like
before,
you don't.
and I'm like, you know what? I know I have this, but like, I'll just eat it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'll get McDonald's today.
Yeah, or I'll go across the street and get pizza.
Exactly.
Something else.
Yeah.
And then my last question that I've written down here is, so obviously tattooing means something to somebody, like to each artist differently, but what does tattoo mean to you?
Shit, man. It's it means a lot because like I grew up poor. I did not grow up like wealthy whatsoever. My mom worked like 3-4 jobs at one point just to support me.
Are you the only child, or?
Yeah, I'm the only child.
Okay.
Minimum wage jobs. Now that I'm adult, I'm like, that's fucking crazy. The fact that I'm able to help pay her mortgage now, like I pay her mortgage, I send her money.
That's so dope, and that probably just so.
That being said,
rewarding.
she lives in Texas, where it's substantially.
Oh,
cheaper,
so is that you're gonna visit her out there too? And
yeah,
everything?
yeah. But like the fact that I'm able to make a living doing something I love, man, is like the coolest shit in the world. If you'd have told me when I was growing up that like this is what you're gonna do, I'm like, you're fucking tripping, bro. Nobody makes a living like that.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm able to give back and, I just bought a house. Like,
yeah.
fucking doing art. Like, that's crazy to me.
Dude, that's so cool.
A lot of this adult shit.
I'm hoping I can do that with like photography and video. It just like, for Central Valley, it's kind of harder because
it's harder. Like, okay, so I was getting tattooed by this world famous tattoo artist that works at our shop right now. And he came up from LA and he was like, down there, success is so natural that up here, it's like the opportunities is a lot more scarce. So a lot of people are vying for the same opportunity, which creates a lot of animosity and jealousy. And I was like, that. Bro, you just described the whole Central Valley. Like, I was like, I've never thought about it like that, but it's true. Our economy isn't the greatest. Certain places are better than others.
And price is such a big thing in our area.
Yeah.
Like, no matter if it's tattoo, photography, videography.
Exactly.
People, like, you can show them your work, and your work will be better. Like, I've seen some wedding films that some people do in Merced area, and like,
trash.
Yeah, if I would have paid someone $1,000 or $1,500 to do that, I would have literally been pissed. I'm like, why is this in fast forward the whole time or something? Like I just don't get it. Versus like
someone who takes the time.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's always my selling pitch is like, yes, like you're paying we may be $500 more expensive. However, look at our product and finished product compared to their finished product.
I don't even argue price with people. Some people will be like, oh, well, I got this done for like $100, and I was like, look, I'm not Walmart. I don't price match. And not to be an asshole, but I don't genuinely need your business. I stay busy enough.
Yeah, exactly.
And I genuinely believe in quality over quantity. That being said, I'm trying to do quantity as well. But
That being said, I did 5 tattoos in one day and overbooked myself. But
but I really like care about this. You gotta live with this shit for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? There's certain shit you could cheap out on. But there's a lot of shit you should not cheap out on.
Yeah. And that's what Ricky always like kind of ingrained in my brain that like, listen, the thing with tattoos is that I'm giving you a piece for life. Yeah. Okay? So if it's going to cost a little bit more, think about it's going to cost a little bit more because it's going to be tattooed on you forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think that's a huge point in tattoos that a lot of people just look past.
Yeah, they're like, oh, well, like my homie in like my friend's garage does it for like, $30 or some shit. Why are you charging me $100? I'm like, yeah, but it also looks like that.
Yeah, it looks like it's $30 tattoo.
Yeah, you might get an infection. I don't know. What's going on there. So,
have you ever seen the movie King of Staten Island? It's with Pete Davidson. Oh, it's like he like starts tattooing.
I think I heard about it.
Yeah, actually. So he like starts tattooing, but like he like tries to convince that he's like he always tattoos on his friends, like in the garage and everything like that. And then he asks this like 10-year-old kid, he's like, you want a tattoo? And like he starts tattooing the kid and everything. And the kid's parents comes and finds out.
Of course.
And they're like, he said he wanted one. And he's like, he's fucking 10. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
like,
dude. I don't tattoo minors. Yeah. I have kids that hit me up like, yo, I have my parents' permission. Like, is it cool? I was like, absolutely not.
So, what, can you get a tattoo?
No, not in the state of California.
Legally? No?
Legally, no. Like, I guess if like one of my little cousins hit me up and was like, I cleared it with their mom. Like, whatever. That's family. But no. Yeah, I don't tattoo minors.
Dang, dude. I mean, I understand that, but like, I was just because you always see minors with tattoos.
No, yeah, you do definitely.
You get tattooed before you were 18?
Nope. Waited till I was 18. I got tattooed like I want to say like a week or two after my 18th birthday.
I got tattooed like I think when I was like 19, 20. It was like my first one.
Yeah. Jimmy's dad did my last name across my chest, and my girlfriend at the time was with me, and I was like, "Yo, I'm just trying not to look like a bitch in front of her. This shit hurts."
Yeah,
This shit hurts so bad.
Yeah, so I've only gotten tattooed on my chest
Yeah.
and then my arm right here.
Yeah.
And so I'm always like,
The middle of your chest is stupid.
yeah. The middle of your chest hurts, but like I don't really have too much in the middle of my chest either.
But
so.
it's just that bone right there is like not
It's like
fun.
your sternum or
Yeah,
what is that what it is? Yeah, because every now and then, someone will pop my sternum for me. I'm like, what the like? It always feels so weird that your chest can pop. That and the collarbones always fucking hurt me.
Collarbone was a little sensitive for sure. I'd say my top painful areas are like my sternum, my ribs.
Is it bones more like?
You know what? It's just nerve endings. So like my shin, like the front of my shin, not that bad.
And you would think,
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I just got my ankle done last Monday. That sucked.
Ankle and feet, I hear like.
Yeah, that shit was not fun.
Because I can't imagine the top of my foot. And how does it work with tattooing? And like, let's say you're doing the foot, and the foot has a lot of veins on it.
Mm-hmm.
You just like punch in through that, or?
So typically, if you like hit a vein, and I learned this from piercing, is that they'll grow back. It's not a gigantic.
It's
deal.
like a wound, but they'll heal up.
Yeah,
basically.
Like you're essentially giving yourself a scar.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's fine. And we only go through the first couple layers of skin. We don't like go that deep.
Oh, okay.
Or we try not to. I've seen people's shit blown out, so that does happen.
Yeah.
But typically, it won't be too bad. Yeah.
Dude, that's dope. And so, I mean, is there anything else you're passionate about besides tattooing and art? I mean,
art. I'm a father now, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I grew up without a dad, so I don't. That's something I really want.
Almost surreal to you, probably.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling. Like there's a little boy that calls me dad. Like that's fucking.
That's cool though.
It's heartwarming for sure.
Yeah.
So that for sure. Family, providing for my family and stuff.
And then did your mom move out to Texas recently or somewhere recently?
She moved like 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, because I know she used to live over here.
Yeah, she used to live here.
You have more family over in Texas?
Yeah, I was born in Texas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was born in El Paso. So I go back and visit whenever I can. And I have a lot of family in LA too.
Is your family all good right now with the Texas storms?
We have had so El Paso wasn't hit too bad. They've had like a couple storms and it snowed a little bit, but it wasn't like.
Oh, it wasn't like a.
Yeah, it wasn't like. I actually called my mom. She was like, "No, we're good. Like it's fine."
So it must have been like lower parts of Texas then.
Yeah, I would say it's like lower and middle.
Mm-hmm. And where's El Paso? Is it a little more north?
Very
top
western edge of Texas.
Oh, okay.
So it's like right at the borderline of like New Mexico, Texas.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And
so
then it's
pretty high
also
up,
like right next to Mexico as well. So
okay, yeah.
Juarez is like the border town to it.
Okay.
So Juarez, Mexico.
I always forget that like Texas has a Mexican border too.
Yeah, dude,
like, it's like wild. Also, Mexico's freaking big too. If you think about
gigantic.
Yeah, if you think about like you always think about California, Mexico, but
yeah,
all those states bordering are all
Arizona, fucking New Mexico, all that. It's a weird oxymoron because like El Paso is one of the safest cities in the United States versus Juarez is one of the most dangerous.
And they're right next to each other?
Dangerous cities in the world, not just like,
really?
Mexico, the world. From some statistic I looked up.
And they're probably like 100 miles.
They're literally right next to
each
each other. Like you can see Juarez from like El Paso.
That's wild.
It's wild, yeah. It's like fucking weird dichotomy. I don't know.
I'm gonna let you say that. I don't know what that means either.
Yeah. Let's just pretend that sounds smart, all right?
Okay.
I go to college.
Dichotomy. Yeah. That's funny. Dude. Well, Thore, I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you, man.
And do any shout outs you want to do while we're here?
No, because then if I miss somebody, they'll get butthurt. So.
No, I feel you.
Shout out to all of you. Shout out to all of you.
Just cover the basics, all of you.
Love all y'all.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you being here. Really happy. You got my first tattoo artist on the podcast.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked on that.
I just love having people who are like actually passionate about what they do from the Central Valley on this because no one talks about him.
Yeah, we get like a bad rep, and I feel like there's so much talent here, man. Like
no, exactly
everything.
Yeah, exactly. And we're like the lost part of California, I feel like.
Yeah, nobody thinks that's
no one thinks about you. Think of California, you might think of NorCal or San Francisco, LA, San Diego.
Exactly. You don't think of
maybe Santa Cruz and them, but you don't think about Modesto, Fresno, Merced, Turlock, none of them. No. So that's why I feel like I started this podcast because I want to highlight people you who are super passionate about what they do.
Much appreciated, man. I'm glad. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, Thore.
All right, dude.
Thank you. People, you can follow him. I'll put that right there. Thanks for being here, Thore.
Thanks, man.
This is it. Real talk and whatnot.